Hello everyone, we are back with another installment of the Learning Destiny series, and in this one, we're going to be playing the decks that we kind of built using the advice in the basic deck building guide. So Zach, first of all, you gave us a lot of advice. I chimed in with some.
Sure.
What did you do? How did you construct these decks in particular? Tell me the process.
So these decks, like we said last time, are built using the starters. So we have the 2-player starter and the character starters from Legacies. And we used all the concepts we talked about in the basic deck building guide. So the main thing you're going to see out of both of these decks, right? We have the 2 colors each. You're on blue and yellow. I'm on red and yellow. We have, the 10 to 12 dice cards each. We have the control cards in our deck. And so it's really just playing to the fundamentals. And it's pretty surprisingly when I sat down to construct decks using just the 2-player starter and the character starters, you can build some pretty legitimate decks in the constructed format, right?
Was it easy, or were there just a lot of cards vying for slots? Like, were there obvious choices?
There were a lot of this pretty obvious choices, right? Like I'm running Poe and Han Solo, so range damage. I don't really have any melee upgrades in my deck. That eliminates a lot of the dice I could have brought to the table.
Yeah.
You also have only a certain number of control cards, and so I'm not playing blue, which is where a lot of the control cards come from in the 2 starters.
In those products, yeah.
And in general, they typically have some more dice manipulation going on. So there were definitely a lot of things that were just pretty quickly eliminated. Even when it came to the battlefield, there's only so many choices. So finding something that either really benefits just your deck or doesn't overly benefit your opponent wasn't the easiest task. But there were choices, particularly on the dark side. Tons of control options, and almost an endless number. And so we'll talk about some of those concepts on how to evaluate those cards in the advanced deck building guide. But really, again, the basic deck building rules are rules of thumb that should let you pretty quickly put together a deck to get to the table, start playing, and start learning really how to evaluate cards and more advanced decisions to be making.
All right, well, let's dive into it. I'm gonna start shuffling here. Now, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, where I assume it's posted, we also have it over on our site with the full guide and the full series laid out in a much easier to understand format, and some bonus text as well. We write some blogs talking further about these concepts. So you can find all of that in a better format over on our site. We'll put links to that in the description and probably elsewhere.
And of course, we'll include the deck lists that we're using here in case you have the starters and you want to build the decks and kind of follow along in that way.
Now, we used 2 Boba starters, 2 of the, who's the light side?
It's Luke and Han.
Luke and Han.
It's a great starter.
And then we technically used 2 of the 2-player starters, but think we could have got by with 1, right?
There's only a handful of cards, even with in the starters, you get 2 Boba dice and 2 of the Luke dice. So technically we need the 2 for the 2 Han Solo dice, but most of the cards could have easily been, if you bought 1 of each of the starters, it would have made your choices more obvious.
Yeah, sure.
You would have had less choice because you couldn't run 2 of each card like you can in standard deck building. But I think you could get away with 1 of each, but you have a ton of options once you go up to 2 of each of the starters.
Excellent. All right, so what's the order?
So we shuffle up. And the first thing we're going to do is we set aside our characters and our battlefields, and then we're going to draw 5.
1, 2.
And we get a selective mulligan. So you can keep any number of these cards. And so I'm going to be picking.
You're making your good pile and bad pile?
I mean, good and bad in the sense of what you want out of your opening hand. So things I'm looking for here are 0-cost cards that are either manipulating dice or adding resources and also upgrades.
Let me tell you, I'll just show you what I'm dealing with, because there's some really good examples of things you want to keep and don't want to keep.
Sure.
So Subdue, I don't want to keep that. I need a character with 3 or more damage. That's not going to happen at the first of the game. I want anything that's usable. Only upgrade that I've seen, so I'm probably going to keep that, just because I don't want to get stuck with none upgrades as possible. Turn an upgrade die to a side showing a blank is probably fine. That's going to be even better later in the game with more powerful upgrades showing up.
Yeah, like right now I have no upgrades in place. So
I'm on the fence about that one. Take flight, ambush, reroll 2 yellow die. That's an easy 0-cost card that could really cause some pain. So I don't have any issue with that one. And then parry, remove a die showing melee. I see both your characters have guns, so I definitely don't need that. So I'm gonna actually toss these 3.
And I'll go ahead and lay mine out because I think that's a really great example. So I have the Z74Z, or 74Z speeder bike. It's a 2-cost upgrade. I'm gonna keep that because it's great. I also have Bamboozle. Lets me reroll 1 of your dice. If you get a blank, I get a money. It's 0-cost, which is why I like it. Now
and
the rest,
if you were to hit that early, hit an early money off of a blank, it'd be a big deal.
So the rest of the cards, right, they cost money or they're an upgrade. And so they're not really adding too much for me. I don't need a second Z speeder necessarily.
You can only play one.
Face off is I like that later in the game. And even I have you now is fine if I hit the money. But I'm not expecting to play it, and I think I could get more zero cost cards that are usable early.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pitch these 3.
Because you have to imagine, you start with 2 resources. Let's say you spend that 2 there. You don't run any resources on your die, so that's gonna be the end of your expenditure. So having a bunch of 1 and 2 cost events is just gonna be clogging up your hand.
Yep, so at that point, you shuffle the cards that you're mulliganing back in, and then you'll draw back up to 5, and we'll get to the next kind of stage of the game.
All right, so we both kept about 2, and that's about normal. I find myself keeping usually 2 and sometimes 1 to 2 cards, especially if there's something you're just really looking for, an upgrade that makes a character super
And so
good.
this is actually a really good example. I'll just show you, maybe cut some tension in the game. But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to learn here. So I got the hunting rifle, which is a 1 cost. If I do hit that bamboozle, as an example, now I have a 2 and a 1 that I could play, and I'm building my board. I also got Sound the Alarm.
Ooh,
it's
perfect.
a 0 cost, reroll any of my opponent's dice showing damage. Most importantly, I got Pose Blaster.
Oh, killer.
Pose Blaster is awesome. It's probably the best upgrade in the deck, and it's a 2 cost. So now I'm actually probably going to play that first over the Z Speeder. And that's what happens with a mulligan, right, though? So you're looking for cards that are going to do even more than what you started with and just give you more options on that first round.
Well, I'll see your mulligan and raise you a 2nd Take Flight,
That's dangerous.
a Sound the Alarm,
Yep, that's great.
and a Crossguard Lightsaber.
Even better. That's it.
Very comparable to that Post Blaster, right? So
Yep.
we almost hit the exact same Post Mulligan hunting rifle upgrade, couple of 0 cost events.
And our better upgrades.
And just imagine for a second, what would happen if we had not taken that mulligan? If we had held on to 2 more cards, 3 more cards, our openings would have been way worse. So much of these opening turns comes down to making sure you're holding only the cards that you need that are really gonna add value during these opening turns, and then really having no attachment to the rest, just pitch them.
And I think that's what's really important to me about, even with this whole series we're doing, building the decks, getting to the table as soon as you can, because we've played a lot, so we know what we're looking for and what's good and what's worth keeping. And the more you play and the faster you get to playing, the faster you can make that kind of a decision, which is, I know what's actually going to be useful on my first turn. The first game you're playing, you probably don't know what's useful.
Yep.
So just getting to the table, high recommendation.
Yeah.
All right, so next phase, we take all our character dice, we rattle them around, we roll them in,
Quietly.
and we count the total numbers showing on all of our dice.
Just numbers, symbols don't matter.
It's worth knowing, blank counts as or not a blank is a 0, but a special symbol, like the Boba Fett die that just got rolled, it counts as a 0 as well on the value.
All right, that's worth nothing to me, so I have 3.
I have 4, and what that means is that whoever wins that roll gets to choose which battlefield the game is going to happen on. Now, the battlefield is going to determine a couple things. Not only is this the ability that we can use every round, but whoever starts with the battlefield, so if I choose yours, you would start with it. That means you get to go first on the first turn. It also means that I, as a second player, get to put 2 shields on any of my characters.
Which is insane. I mean, 2 damage in this game. Think about your characters having 21 health across them. Like, 2 damage is significant.
Sure. I mean, even just
margin.
If I put 2 shields on Han, he goes from 10 health to 12, which is a 20% increase. I mean, that's a large jump. So your battlefield does nothing for me.
Absolutely nothing.
I have to spend money to get the shields, which I don't like. My battlefield does damage, though, potentially. So based on my deck building, could be bad for me. If I do choose your battlefield, though, I get 2 free shields. So kind of the math on this, just for consideration. If I choose mine, I get to go first.
Mm-hmm. Which can be good.
But I give you 2 shields.
Yes, you do.
If I choose yours, it's probably going to get you some shields on Kylo for free. But you already get 2 for free here.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Is the reality, the number of times, if I claim I don't have to use it, I can just not spend a resource and get a shield. So I actually think in this case, even though your battlefield benefits you more than it benefits me, I'm going to go ahead and choose it.
Does going first matter to you, ultimately? I mean, what's the, because one of the big advantages of going first is potentially checking out of the battlefield early, but if you don't get that benefit, then what other benefit is there to going first?
So I think that benefit is more dependent on the actual match And so in Constructed in particular, if I have a way of messing with your resources before you get to use them, or messing with your cards before you get to play them. But given what's in my hand...
And like that Bamboozle, I roll in, and then you just play the Bamboozle, and maybe you get a resource right off the bat. Like there's some good second turn plays for you.
There are also characters that like to go first, just depending on their ability.
Just a personal preference?
Yeah, I mean, like as an example, a really great example is... The Rey from the 2-player starter, if she has a shield when she activates, she gets to do damage to a character.
Yeah.
So if I let you go first, I get the free shields. But also, if Kylo gets to go first, you could activate, trigger his ability potentially, knock the shields off, and now I don't get that benefit.
That's true.
So I wouldn't want Kylo to be going first. So anyways, I'll choose your battlefield. Mine goes away, and then I get 2 shields. I get to place them where I want. And I'll go ahead and put 1 on each.
Now you're using the Saga tokens, so we make these.
That's right.
We just like using them way better. Obviously, that's why we made them. And those are available from our store, but then I'll also be using the stock cardboard tokens.
And
punched them out this morning.
2 shields. We also get 2 resources to start the game. I will be using the tokens as we mentioned. And then we start. So first actions to you, and as we mentioned in the Learn to Play, we'll basically go back and forth until both players are done with the turn.
So here's kind of my math on this, and I'm always learning when it comes to any game, but especially with Destiny. You have this kind of bias, especially if you played other games, to try to put a structure to your turn, to think like I need to play all my upgrades as my first thing, and then I'll start rolling characters in, and then I'll start resolving dice. Right, but I've got 2 resources. I know that I really want to play this crossguard lightsaber. So it's tempting to just be like, all right, attach it to Kylo and pass. But that doesn't really, I don't think, do much for me as compared to like, I can roll Boba in because I know that I'm not going to put an attachment on Boba this turn.
Yep, and even if you got another money from, say, a Boba die, you could play both upgrades on Kylo before activating them.
Absolutely.
Also, like with Boba, he has that special that he can do damage equal to the value of a die that's shown.
Yep.
So the sooner you get that on the table, if I roll in a 2,
that's right.
now you have the opportunity.
I want that special sitting on the board. It's kind of like a force throw in that way. Like you really just want to threaten it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with Boba Fett. I'm just going to activate a character, choosing Boba here.
And he's also got that disrupt side.
He does.
So if you roll that, now you're forcing me to kind of spend my resources.
And that's exactly why you do that.
That's great.
That's exactly
super great. All right, now I have to think about my same thing. So I'm looking, and right now I don't like the idea of you getting money. So the first thing I'm going to do is play a Bamboozle. So I can reroll an opponent's die, and if you roll a blank, I get to take a money from you.
You're going to bamboozle my money?
And I take the resource from you. That's such a crazy card. So I'll re-roll your resource.
So here's the crazy thing. If you hit this and you take one of these, like my entire turn, it's like I should have played the upgrade first. These are the beautiful decisions that we have to make.
It's a 1 in 6 to hit the blank though, so. Oh man, from downtown.
We all knew it was gonna happen. We all knew it.
All right, so I take one of your money.
We take some money.
About like, here's why I'm not gonna play my upgrade first. But here's also why I think that 1 cost upgrade is important.
Yeah, you still want it.
Because you can still play the upgrade, the 1 coster, or you could reroll and try to get money again. But now I'm looking.
Yeah, man, I just got bamboozled.
Man.
Let's see. So there is an element of me that wants to try that. But I'm sitting on 2 damage, which is pretty. I mean, that's the best I can hope for damage-wise. Well, this is going to turn into a reroll anyway, so I think I'm going to do a little ambush reroll up to 2 on my yellow dice.
Cool.
Because I can sit it here. I'm just going to do 1 for now because I just want anything that's not a blank.
Oh man, this is
it's
bad.
One of those games, huh?
This is bad. All right, so
That's ambush, so I get to take another one.
That's part of what makes that card.
Makes it great.
Great.
I kind of want to do that again. No, I'm just going to go hunting rifle here.
Yeah, because you've had too many rerolls. Like,
call it a day.
If you ultimately play the upgrade there and roll Kylo out, now you can reroll all of your dice. So that's
I was willing to take 1 shot to see if I could get a resource.
Yeah.
Just to get a resource.
Before you actually commit to that upgrade.
Because that crossguard lightsaber is so good.
Yeah.
Especially because you got shields on people right now.
Lots of shields. All right, now I have to really think about this. I think I'm going to just go ahead and play Poe's Blaster on Poe, which is ideal.
Now, also worth noting on the hunting rifle, you notice like Kylo's a melee hero, so why would you put a gun on him? And the important thing to realize is that why wouldn't you? There's no blue sides, there's no modified sides. I know that I want to upgrade up into maybe something stronger next turn.
And not after. If you'd put it on Boba, now that's 3 of your dice on the table. So like I'm not even already gone, but like investing resources in a character that already has the 2 dice.
Absolutely.
So you're kind of dividing it. Plus you can upgrade into other upgrades later. So with 1 resource next turn, you could go from this to the cross guard and not spend all your money.
And I might have to.
It depends on
Thanks a lot.
If I bamboozle you. Jar Jar came in for the win.
He did,
I love it. All right, so it's your action, right?
Yep, you attach your blaster. I'm going to activate. What does that blaster do if it's on Poe?
It's the special side of the blaster. I can deal 2 damage to a character or 3 instead if it's attached to Poe. And he has his ability, which is special, give a character a shield, turn a die to another side. So technically if I roll his special, no matter what I roll on this, I can chain into it, which we will probably see if I'm lucky.
All right, I'm going to choose to activate the character Kylo Ren, so I'll pick up his character die and any corresponding upgrade die.
Okay.
And so not at all what I was looking for, but I also have this ability here. After you activate this character, choose a color, reveal a random card in an opponent's hand. If it matches the color, deal 2 damage.
And so you've seen me play a yellow.
I've seen you play a yellow.
And a red.
And a red. I know you have a yellow and red character. I don't remember actually your opening hand in terms of the colors.
So the 3 choices
I remember you had that speeder. I'm going to go red. I'm just going to do red.
So I had the speeder, and I also had neutral cards.
That's right.
So buyer beware.
I'll just call it red, because otherwise it's pretty unfair to know your hand ahead of time. This one. Okay, sound the alarm. Got it.
It was neutral. But if you had hit that, it would have been 2 damage.
2 damage.
Your choice,
That's why Kylo's great.
All right, mine?
Yes. That's also why Kylo is a great call if everybody's running like a single color, like all blue or all red.
Against a mono blue deck, he is
killer.
Very powerful. Let me think about this.
Now, I've seen sound the alarm too, so re-rolling all these dice just to get it sound the alarm is not
That's the other part of Kylo, is you have
exciting.
Information, right? I'm going to go ahead and play a hunting rifle as well on Poe.
Oh, Poe's just getting massive. Actually, imagine that he looks pretty cool holding both of those guns.
He's got a hunting rifle on his back and his blaster in his hand.
All right, so...
He's primed to do a lot of damage, though. I'll say that much.
This is really tough.
You could also do a significant amount of damage here.
Which one should I do? Should I Poe or Han? The eternal question. I think at this point I gotta all hands on Poe here.
That's kind of what I was setting up.
Here's what I'll do, man. Because I know after seeing that you have the sound the alarm, before I just like try to get a perfect amount of dice and everything that I want and then resolve them, I'm gonna start by just resolving 2 damage on a Poe.
Absolutely a good call, because knowing sound the alarms there, also knowing Han's ability, when he activates I get a reroll a die, showing max damage is not going to be helpful, and you can already resolve that, so why not?
Why not?
All right, I'm going to roll Poe in.
I need you to really brick this one. That's a great start. Thank you.
That's a pretty good break, although I do really like rolling the resources. That's
Early on, resources can be killer.
Turn 1, unless I'm playing against a deck that's just very fast and aggressive, I love seeing money.
And you've got 2 cards left.
You know both of them.
So potentially 2 resources. And see, what I'm looking at is, I don't want to get rid of this crossguard lightsaber. I want that in the game.
It is too good.
Sound the alarm is kind of my get out of jail free card, because you're going to roll Han in, you're going to have 6 dice on the table. You could really get them all into some nice damage sides, and I could force the reroll there. And then I could also use this take flight to reroll all 3. If I reroll all 3 and do well, you play sound the alarm, and then you only have 1 reroll left from your cards, which is fine. I could also just try to ambush this guy out for something quickly, like a 2 damage or something, and then use my sound the alarm on my own dice, or hold it for another turn. So that's a tough call. It's a tough call.
It is tough. And if you remember, you should, based on seeing my hand earlier, which is interesting, you should also know the other card.
I'm not even going to think about it.
It's a speeder. It costs 2.
So it might come out this turn. You mean?
It might.
I'm just gonna play Boba to speed. I'm just gonna take flight here. See what we got.
Getting it done.
All right. Well, we can do 2 damage. So that was an ambush, so I get to take another action.
Yep.
So I'm gonna resolve this, and I can do damage equal to another die on the board. I'm gonna choose this 2.
Okay.
And do 2 more to Poe there.
And this is why I use the saga token. It's one of the best parts. It flips into a 3, which means I don't have to grab a
Well, that was easy.
Yep, that was easy.
You can find this and more on our store.
Right here at the link. No. All right, my action?
Yes.
So, and I really like how you're playing this once you saw Sound the Alarm, because you're resolving kind of a die at a time.
At a time, yeah.
So, yeah, and it's you also just get to kind of see what I'm doing, right? Like, you don't have to, you can take your action slow. A lot of people try to build that big. I hit all 8 damage at once. Not necessary.
Yeah,
So
and most of the time, complete folly, ultimately.
I'll gain 2 money.
All right, so now we're at one of my favorite stages of the game, which I don't know if we covered this in previous videos. Sometimes we just kind of, it's like staring into the sun for a few hours and you're just wake up.
Yeah.
But passing an action. So that's another thing that you can do during a turn. So right now, I can't resolve any of these die. I really want to reroll. I have 1 card left because I want to hold on to my lightsaber. So I'm going to do this reroll, but before I spin my Sound the Alarm on that reroll, I would love to see what Han rolls in.
Yeah, because if you're seeing 6 damage across the board,
it's like,
it's worth more to,
So what I can do is I can say pass, so I can pass my action, and in that way I'm not going to take any actions, and then it'll go to Zach. Now if Zach also passes his action, the turn is over, everything freezes as it is, I stay in control of the battlefield, we move on to the next turn.
But given that I have so many dice left, it's not
He's already got Han, he still needs to roll Han in, so I can basically bide my time and see kind of how this is going to shake out. So I will pass my action.
Okay, and I will play the speeder.
All right, speeder comes back in. All right, and I still am going to pass.
I have so many dice on the board. That bamboozle was...
Isn't that insane? You've got 3 upgrades. Let's see if I can wile my way out of it. Okay, so that's...
Oh, and I'm going to trigger Han's ability. After I activate this character, I can re-roll a die. So mine or yours, and also it's after I activate, so my dice are out. So
yeah,
he can
that's important to know. Those after abilities. Activating gets the die in the pool, and then you have your ability.
So I'm going to actually choose my Poe die.
Okay, don't hit that special.
I want the special.
Yes.
Got Blank
This
City.
is good. Okay, so I like this now. So I feel comfortable going for a full reroll here, knowing that if you spend your Sound the Alarm, you don't get any more rerolls, and you're sitting on blanks and
so I'm probably going to use the Sound the Alarm to reroll.
So I am going to reroll my dice here.
Big money, no whammies.
Hope for something good. And you don't have any resources, do you?
No resources.
But you do have a resource sitting here.
I like that resource.
That's what you need, right? More resources.
Okay. I love resources. They're underestimated. My action?
Yeah, it's yours. Yeah.
I'm going to re-roll, given that you're not showing damage. Use that Sound the Alarm. Let's get rid of my blanks at least. And I like that money. So I'm going to just re-roll.
You have to assume I'll probably check out before. I'm not going to assume that's disrupt super hard. Well, now I might.
Now you really might. So I rolled a 2 damage on Han that's showing him money. So if you just wait, and you should wait, but that's also going to see the battlefield to me. Yeah. If I do it correctly, which I'll walk through when it comes back to me, assuming you pass.
I think 2 damage. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, and it'd be fun to watch anyway.
Yeah,
so
the battlefield's 1 shield.
Yeah,
and okay. So here's the one way I could do this is I could gain a money first, and then you could smash. Then I would resolve my damage. I could.
That's the wrong way.
That's the wrong way.
Yeah.
The right way is I'm gonna go ahead and do 4 damage to Kylo.
So we'll assume I need to officially pass. So you rolled your dice. I will pass the action, and then it goes back to you.
So then I'll do 4 to Kylo.
No,
resolve those dice.
Not Kylo. All right. So now I'm still sitting here on this disrupt, knowing that you have to take that resource to do your final 2 damage.
Yep.
So I want to stay in this position, so I'm going to pass again.
Okay. Then I will. Oh, you know what?
What's that?
Rethink this. The speeder says action, resolve this die and one of attached character dice in the order of my choice.
That's incredible.
So I can actually use
Well, then
that
I'm going to claim
action.
the battlefield.
Yeah. So I was like, wait a second. I'm zooming around on my speeder here. So he claims the battlefield, gets a shield.
Yeah.
And then I will use my speeder action to gain a money, immediately resolve the Han die, and do 2 damage to Kylo.
That's really good.
Upon recognizing that.
That is really good.
So just kind of a summary here of what transpired. Obviously, Bamboozle was a big deal for this turn.
Get rid of my shield
That
here.
2 money shift is unbelievably good for me, and I blanked, like it was more than that too, because I took 1 and also blanked your die. I ended up with 5 cost worth of things.
Unbelievable.
Hard
to recover from.
It's bizarre, and I ended up doing 5 damage to your 3. I also had a shield, so technically 4.
Huge advantage.
I mean,
no other way of looking at it.
The Bamboozle was absurd.
We got bamboozled.
All right, we will continue the next round. We ready our characters. We gain 2 resources each. We can discard any number of the cards in our hand, and then we draw back up to 5. So I'm going to do that right now.
I'm not going to discard anything, and then I will draw back up to 5. Okay.
All right, so Steven has the battlefield. He will get the first action of the new turn.
Well, I'm worried now that you might have that bamboozle.
You can't be afraid of old Jar Jar.
I've been bamboozled twice.
He's hiding everywhere.
So I'm going to go ahead and just do it now. I don't know. It's hard to upgrade Kylo whenever he's potentially dying this turn.
Potentially approaching it is replacing the stick, only spending 1 of your money, and then having the money to like resolve the 2 on Kylo or any other 1-cost events you might have in your hand.
It's really tough because I'm so light on dice right now that I kind of just want as many of them as I can.
You also, Kylo has 7 health, so that's pretty. I would have to get some. I mean, I have a lot of dice.
You have so many dice. You can do it so easily.
I was looking down doing the math, and I was like, wait a second. I could do like
pretty easily
a lot of damage here.
I'm going to go ahead and do a replacement. So this can happen once per turn, per my turn, or whatever we call them in this game. So I'm going to replace that, and that means it only costs me 1 resource instead of 2 because I can subtract the pre-existing cost from the new cost.
And as you mentioned,
2 minus 1 is 1.
Only once per turn can you upgrade over an upgrade.
That's a new-ish rule. When the game launched, that was not the case. If you see old videos and people just replacing like crazy, that was possible at one point. But now once per turn.
Not as possible. So you also get to trigger the ability on the quest card.
I played it on Kylo Ren, so I get to deal the damage to a character. Let's keep the focus going on. It's very rare, if ever, the right call to switch focus fire from one character that you've started on to another.
Yeah, and target priority is something we'll get to in the advanced deck building guide, but it's really important once you start going in. There are some exceptions, but usually not.
It makes sense though, right? You think about, of all the ways you could divide your damage, if you divide it in such a way that a character gets off the board as early as possible, that is just less damage that they're now able to do to you. Because a Poe with 10 damage on it can still roll the exact same dice as a Poe with 0 damage on it. But a Poe with 11 damage on it rolls none dice.
Can't do anything. Yep. So I'm going to play Quick Draw Holster on Poe. This is an upgrade that doesn't provide a die. But it says after I activate attached character, I can reroll any number of their weapon dice.
Man, that is so good.
So if he rolls in, I can reroll both weapons.
Bummer.
Luckily, your deck has about 18 control cards in it, roughly.
It's got some madness. Let's get Boba in there because I want to threaten that special symbol.
Just 4 damage.
Or just 4 dads right there.
So that would effectively get Poe to 8 damage.
Yes.
So with Kylo's ability, if that hits, that's 10 total damage. That is terrifying. Let's see if I can...
You better do something about it with all those... You talk about control cards a lot, but now do you have any?
Nope.
That's very good for me.
None that I want to play. All right, I'll activate Poe.
I could just sneak in here and get Poe out of here.
It's not over. Your deck does a lot of damage. And then I can technically reroll both of these dice. I will keep the hunting rifle, and I'll reroll Poe's.
Because of the quick draw holster.
Yep.
You can immediately reroll any number of weapons.
All right, got the.
Ooh, put me on the clock
routes.
there. Dang. I needed to hold on to that. Huh.
No money. I really can't afford to lose Poe. Don't kill him. Tough
Let's
choices.
see. So, I mean, you're sitting on that. What else? What could that turn into? That's something worth knowing.
This?
Yeah.
It could turn into 2 damage plus 2 damage, or 3 damage if I get the special. Or a special on Poe.
So, like, you using that is still... I'm basically paying 1 for you not to have those options in terms of damage.
Yeah.
Which I'm not terribly opposed to. I'm going to go ahead and get 4 on Poe.
I think that's totally right.
You just... Sometimes even players will say, I don't have any control option, and they'll look again and be like, oh, wait.
I do.
And
but it could also be that, some control is dependent on me having dice out.
Mm-hmm.
So, it might be I have to remove one of my dice to remove one of yours. And
That's
so
true.
I suddenly have that. You never know.
So are you going to take the resource or not? That's really what it comes down to. Certainly don't have to yet, unless you want to prevent me from playing something out of here.
Not yet. I am going to play the medical droid.
Oh, no.
It's a 1-cost support. And it comes into play, stays in play. It doesn't attach to a
Would you
character.
quit putting stuff on your board over there?
I like dice, man. I told you I like
got
money.
1,000 things to deal with. All right. Bringing it home.
Oh man, this could be so bad. You just need this 3 damage showing.
So you know what's crazy about this actually is that if it weren't for the one upgrade replacement rule, I could just replace with another crossguard lightsaber, which I have in my hand, for another immediate damage. 1. So guessing right and then doing an immediate 1, I could have got there.
I have a bad feeling about this.
In fact, if I had just this and played the hunting rifle there, I wouldn't be in this conundrum. You know, it would have been a great.
Great
thing.
No, all right, use your ability. Don't hit it. Don't get it right. Because you rolled the 2 damage for the 1, so I could smash your money and prevent you from killing me, unless you just hit me for 2 here.
That's right.
And call the color right.
So I mean, I have really no information. You just played a gray card. You played a red card.
Red, yellow, gray.
A lot of red on the board. I imagine there's probably some yellow that you're sitting on, maybe for a later game Han upgrade cycle.
This is intense.
I'm going to choose yellow.
Oh my word. I want to show my hand to the audience just to give them a full readout.
I can't choose. It's so
hard. Do you need
hard.
a die?
Yeah,
we need a D6.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to get this.
You said yellow?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I assume 2 damage to Poe, thanks to Kylo's ability.
Yes.
All right, so he is down to 1 health, which is bad news beats for me.
It's like that scene in The Last Jedi where Kylo is all up in the brain space. Many times.
That's a problem. I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 damage to
Look at how this has turned over. How is that even possible?
It's because you're killing my guy with my upgrades on.
Just kill the guys. Don't you understand?
That's why. So you only had 3 dice to start the game, but your characters can do so much damage. Boba Fett effectively has 3 sides that show damage. Kylo has 3 sides that show damage. He has his ability. So that's what your deck does. I mean, this is the game.
So I'm playing low ball here. Let's do 1 to Poe.
Okay.
Because if you ever make the choice to not do it when you can, you will immediately regret it.
That is correct. So Poe gets defeated, all his upgrades go away, none of them have redeploy, so they also go away.
That's so good for me, guys.
Poe goes under.
How did this happen?
Underneath, and his blaster goes away.
All right, so Han on a speeder with a medical droid. This is already a great story.
All right, I'm gonna activate Han, and then I'll use his ability after I do that. So we will go ahead and make you re-roll your... Oh, actually, I made a mistake, but that's fine. I will make you re-roll your die.
You sure?
Yep. There's the money. Where's the money, Lebowski?
Interesting. Okay, yeah. Let's show this off to you because I think this is important to note. I'm going to pay 1 for a clash.
Okay, cool.
It says, turn 1 of your dice to a side showing melee damage, turn an opponent's die showing melee damage to a blank. Now, in a lot of games handle rules in various ways, but the way that this card is written, it's essentially 2 separate commands. So it doesn't mean that you have to be able to do the second one to do the first one.
That's right.
Now, there are some cards that would say, like, you know, turn 1 of your sides to a melee damage in order to, or so that you can, or whatever the language is. But this one is just 2 things, so I can do as many as I possibly can. And one of them I can, which is turn to a melee damage side.
Yikes. All right, let's roll the medical droid in.
Right. So that's a heal 1 damage.
Yeah, he has a special that's heal 1 damage.
All right, well, I'm just going to do 2.
Okay, so I remove the shield first, of course. Put 1 damage on Han.
I have a feeling that's going to get healed.
Removed away. Yeah. I am going to go ahead and use the medical droid to heal the damage.
All right, so resolve specials. Okay, so I've got everything's exhausted. I have no money. I don't have any cards in my hand that I necessarily want to play. But I could make you think that I do, which might affect your behavior by passing here rather than claiming. Because you claiming here would be nothing. So I'm going to pass.
Yep.
And you know, I might have a sound the alarm in hand, those kinds of things. You might play a little bit differently.
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and use superior position, which does nothing for me right now, to reroll Han's dice.
Are you using it, or are you...
I'm just discarding.
Just discarding.
Yep. All right.
Oof.
But all money sides,
well,
not helping me out.
Interesting. I'll pass again.
All right. Let's think about this. Let's reroll Han again. Yikes.
That's right back to where you were, wasn't it?
That is right back to where I was.
So I will pass one final time. You gonna check that card or not? That's really the question, isn't it?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Perfect.
The pain.
All right, I'll claim the battlefield, take the action. So I'm checked out of the round.
Topsy-turvy on its head. All right, so I will go ahead and
I'll give a blue character a shield.
discard a
Claim
card at
ability.
random.
Okay.
And then I will resolve this to do 2 damage to Kylo. Cost me money.
One goes to shields automatically.
And then we will go to the next one.
Now, and this is, I'm pretty sure this is true, Zach. Correct me if I'm wrong, but shields always have to be used, if possible.
Unless the damage is unblockable.
Right.
So shields are the first damage that comes off of a character. But there's some weird, or if you're moving damage, it technically goes under the shields. It's because your shields prevent damage from being done, not moved to a character.
But I couldn't say like, I'm just gonna take that and not use my shields on that strike. Okay, so we can discard cards and draw back up. I'm gonna discard actually this Subdue, Zach, because Han doesn't have 3 damage on him, and
not yet.
I feel like, yeah, not yet. I feel like I can draw into some better control here.
Oh man, this could get saucy.
Ooh, man. This is great. This game's fun.
Surprise.
Okay. And now I'm going first, and I get my 2 money resources. So how do I want to go about this one?
Carefully.
Good. I could just hold off on that.
You aced Poe.
Oh man, he just
4 damage from Boba.
He just went wild, didn't he?
Yeah.
So like I could just play another crossguard lightsaber here and then try to get rolled in before I get aced.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of this is you're very far ahead right now.
Yeah.
So if you have control cards that cost money, just making sure you don't take lethal damage on Kylo.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
Is worth so much because you get his ability and his die. And so if you play another crossguard, you get to do 1. But if I can come up with 4 damage that you can't stop, all that goes away.
I agree with you. Let's just hang out.
All right. And I agree with activating Kylo first.
Let's get Kylo and activate Kylo. And I like to do this a lot of times if your character's kind of on their last leg. Looks like any kind of unexpected strike especially could bring them down.
That's what I did with Poe last time.
Get their die in the pool and try to get as much value out of them as you can. Oh, just
depravity.
Sticks.
All right. Would you like to name a color?
Yeah, after I activate Kylo, I can choose a color and do 2, and judging on how this is going, I'm pretty certain that I'm gonna get it right. So here, let's do the competitive card game thing.
Can I see your discard pile?
Can I see your discard pile?
That's when you know it's serious.
All right, so you got a pretty equal spread here. 2 yellow, 3 red, and 3 gray.
That's right.
But the odds still say yellow based on you got 2 reds on the board, so I'm gonna guess yellow.
Oh, come on.
Nailed it, the bamboozle that wrecked me early.
All right.
Man.
Okay.
You were right about, you told me before this game that Kylo's ability is really good.
It's just
not wrong.
It's like, I mean, you rolled 2 damage, right? So it's like 2 damage without having to roll a die or use a die or spend an action doing it. If you hit, that's the thing. If you miss,
that's unbelievable.
But yeah, it's good. You're correct. I agree with you. Oh boy.
Well, you better get Han off the board. You and I both know it.
You mean Kylo?
Yeah.
It's a little Han, mini Han. I am going to play Entangle. Spot a yellow character, costs 2 money to remove 2 dice showing a combined value of 3 or less, and I will remove both of your dice.
That is such a bummer. Because like it forces me into this weird position, right? Where if I don't need my control, I want to spend the money upgrading Boba. But I don't want to roll Boba out until I have made that decision. So it puts me in a place where I just want to pass again. But I don't know if I want to pass. Because I like getting Boba's special out too.
I like you passing.
It's a hard life, man.
It's a hard knocks life.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to replace here for 1 damage.
Yep, I like that play a lot. Okay, and then I will roll in my medical droid.
just
Ace.
You know, just playing on the outskirts here.
Would you like to play a game?
All right, I'm going to activate a character. I'm going to activate Boba. Because I know that you're just going to... That medical droid next turn. See, that's good. That's exactly what we wanted.
Okay.
Aside from maybe the disrupt. But
Yeah, well...
50% exactly what we wanted.
Medium what you wanted. I will...
Roll those T's out. Bones?
I'll just heal the damage. We'll start there.
All right, a thrilling play.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Man, I need more dice to play with.
Yeah, because your dice aren't doing
They're
enough
not doing
for
anything.
I want to see if I can wiggle out of this trap. It's a problem. I have a card in my hand I really want to play.
You need a teacher.
Yes.
I'm going to discard this Hidden Blaster, sad to say.
Oh, that would have been nice to play.
I know. See, that's what I mean, but I've got other things.
Ooh,
well, at
Blank
least
City.
it contributed.
Yeah, Blank City. Let's take a little gamble here. I'm going to bamboozle again. I'm going to have you reroll the special.
You sure you don't want to reroll the blank?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That one's most likely to roll blank. It's hit blank about 20 times this game.
All right.
Whew, okay.
Didn't like that special shot.
Man, I do feel like now, having gone through all this, I should have been passing the entire time. So I'm going to pass now.
All right.
I dare you to go to the next round.
I'm going to play Smuggler's Run. Activate one of my yellow characters. If one or more of its character or upgrade dice rolls a resource, I gain a resource.
Oh, that's good.
So
I've got some disrupts ready for you.
I did not
You sure did
roll
not.
a resource. But I will trigger Han's ability, and we'll re-roll the Han die.
Interesting.
All right.
Man.
You're going to remove my dice?
Let's entangle there.
Oh, the pain.
2 dice showing combined value of 3 or less. I'm gonna do, those 2.
Yeah.
Leave the resource one out there.
That's right. I'll
I'm sitting on a disrupt, so
Let's re-roll the Han die.
any shenanigans you have, well, that was relevant.
Swooshed it. Getting close here. I need Kylo off the board.
Let's, I'm gonna re-roll 2 of mine.
Whew. Entangle's so good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, as you might imagine, I'll resolve for 2 damage on Kylo.
Dang.
So that your special is currently Blank City.
So
And that's kind of one of the downs of Boba. It can be great, but it's also doing nothing without any other sides out.
How interesting.
You have 1 card left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't let those 2 dice do nothing this
I
turn.
mean, you have 2 damage sides.
I gotta re-roll both.
Yeah, well, part of it is, I would be tempted to reroll 1.
I know, yeah.
Because you
I
have
know.
a 66% chance of it turning into something.
No.
But it's also, I think, because you have a 50% chance of getting either the damage or the special,
Yeah.
just rerolling both is the right.
And a resource I wouldn't balk at either.
Yeah.
All right, I almost played the sound the alarm, but I'm gonna discard
There's
it.
a lot of combos of these dice that would be good for you. Like, that's solid. So 1 damage and a money.
Yeah, that's
is
all
not
right.
bad.
All right, are you claiming?
Yeah, I'll claim.
I presume. All right, Zach takes an action,
Won't
claims
trigger the ability,
battlefield.
given that I don't have money.
He could trigger it to get a shield for a resource, but it's not going to happen. So then I can resolve any number of actions that I want. You're checked out of the round. 1 damage with Boba Fett's ability here, mirroring this number, and then 1 resource for Steven.
Okay.
And then
so
we'll move on.
Ready at all, gain our money, discard any cards we don't want, draw back up to 5.
And that's actually giving you kind of the tempo here and taking the battlefield is actually not ideal at all because Kylo's so close to death that if I were going first, I could potentially get his dice in the pool and resolved before you had the chance to lay me out. Man, there's a lot of controlling here.
Yeah, it is piled high. Within the first couple starters, the amount of control that yellow and blue has is just
I like
the
that
charts.
game though.
No, it's great.
like
I
that
mean, you
game
do
a
high
lot.
damage with very few dice, and then you remove all of mine. And once you get some money going, it's real good. All right.
First action to you.
Yeah, so Kylo only has two health left.
That's right.
With Han's reroll ability, I really like getting my dice out.
Yeah, just trying to put the kill shot on the board,
Just to
basically.
get it on the board. Conversely, I would also not mind more upgrades on him, but I'm going to go ahead and roll in. And I liked his ability to be able to reroll damage that you might show,
Yep.
but Instead, I can re-roll my own dice. So I will go ahead and re-roll this blank.
So you're showing it right now. You only need those 2 damage.
That's right.
Okay, so I've got a lot of options here. So I can potentially look at controlling these die. I can just try to get an activation on a Kylo and get his 2 damage ability.
2 damage
I've been
is
hitting
good.
it so far. Been doing okay with that. Ooh, lots of options.
It's getting saucy.
I'm gonna entangle. I think that's the first option.
It hurts my soul.
And I think I'm just gonna get both of these guys off the board because that's really a focus heavy speeder. Boba Fett just sitting over here, no upgrades, just Spider-Man and around.
I'm gonna go ahead and play Honor Guard. It's a support. I can discard it to remove a die showing damage.
Oh, now we're just getting in the trenches.
I don't want to die. You need a teacher.
You need a teacher. Okay. Fascinating question here.
Yikes. I needed you not to remove both.
There's really no way. I'm not feeling threatened whatsoever here. Unless you were able to get this to a 2 and then resolve it, clearly. All right, let's go here. After I activate, I do have an ability. Oh, that's just kind of perfect. You don't want to waste an honor guard on 1 damage.
You're right.
I'm going to choose yellow again.
He misses. That's necessary for me not to lose. All right. Yikes.
I guess having seen a lot of red cards at this point, I would assume doubles of the red cards that I've seen, like the honor guard and the medical droid. So maybe red is the better call there.
I'll go ahead and roll in the medical droid. Speak of the devil.
This is so annoying.
He's got two special sides. Can you imagine 2 medical droids just rolling in and clocking 2 every turn?
Just having a good time. I'm gonna take the cash.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
I don't like money.
I just feel like if I can stay in the controller seat here, I'm gonna be
You're
okay.
way ahead. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a damage off Han. Convert that back down.
Yeah, let me help you out here. Let's just
Convert it back up.
take an action, resolve melee damage.
Shnikes. Let's re-roll the speeder bike.
That's exactly what we wanted. Okay. Question marks abound. Let's do 1 for a hunting rifle on Boba.
Let's re-roll.
These actions back and forth, man. I just love it. Okay.
You're active.
Okay. Huh. Okay. You've got 2 cards left on a reroll. Trying to hit that 2 damage. I don't want to get rid of this. So let's go ahead and roll in.
All right, excellent
Yeah,
plays.
that's so good.
I will trigger my honor guard to get rid of the 2 range damage on Boba.
Let's do the special 2 there.
Need a miracle. I gotta get him off the board.
Yeah, I think you just have to continue to pot shot. Perfect.
Come on, Han, my boy. Just 2 more, right?
I'm just worried, because I potentially have a 1-cost control option in my hand.
In case I rolled it.
In case you roll it, I might have it. I'll pass.
I'm gonna put a shield on Han.
All right, you're gonna love this play.
I don't know if that's the case.
We'll replace here on the hidden blaster for 1. It's ambush, so I'll get to remove a shield whenever it comes into play.
And his ambush, so you get to go again.
Yeah, and I get to go again. And I am actually going to claim the battlefield.
And get a shield.
And get a shield. So basically, it did 1 damage, prevented 1 damage. So it's essentially like hitting the 2 here, but I also get an upgrade in play, and I get the battlefield.
And you get the card out of your hand, so you get to draw more.
I like it better.
So we will gain 2 money, ready everything, discard any number, draw back up.
All right, and so now, your mulligan, especially like the cards that you have in your hand, I'm gonna keep both of these. 3, 4, 5. You put good cards in this deck.
Oh yeah, man. It's all the great cards.
All right, so I'm going first.
You put good cards in this deck. That's funny. You draw 5 and every time you like the 5.
Yeah, this is just great. Let's go ahead and roll Kylo in. We're going to guess red.
I'm red. Let's just mix them up. Oh boy. Sheboygan. Can you hit red? Oh, I hit yellow. You might want to read that card too.
Real one of your character dice and an opponent's character die. You choose. Why did they use dice and die in the same singular context?
That's a good question, but that's for another video.
Deal 2 damage to each character whose die just rolled the lowest value.
I had that last turn, so I wanted a Han die to re-roll and a face-off between Kylo and Han to kind of determine our destinies.
That's fascinating.
Let's go ahead and do some things. I am going to replace here with a hidden blaster, and I'll remove that shield from Kylo.
All right. So that's your replacement for the turn. Remember, you have replaced.
Yep. Then I will pay 2 for Poe's blaster on Kylo, making another appearance.
And the power of ambush, right?
And now it's your action.
Speeds you up. Okay, all right, that's fine. Everything's okay. No issues. I'm gonna do 1.
Okay. I will
just to check that medical droid.
Go ahead and play another honor guard. No, I won't. Han's got the 2 for. I'm just gonna roll.
You might as well roll first, right?
Let's roll Han in. Well, I like getting the control in case you roll
That's
damage
true.
with him.
That's definitely true.
I'll roll in Han, and I can re-roll one of my dice. That's looking
all right. We're seeing
good.
Some options here.
I will re-roll Poe's blaster, of course, and I got a special, so that's 2 damage special, which is good in case you have like sound the alarm. All this number of damage is good for me.
It is good.
Yeah, because like you would have to have a lot. You have to basically get rid of both of these dice to not have Kylo die.
Yeah, like that Entangle that I played last time.
Yeah, but the odds of you have. Didn't you play 2 Entangles so far?
I have.
That's a big shifter.
Well, I'm gonna show our friends at home or the office or wherever you're watching this one of our favorite things to do here when we're playing Destiny, which is to
brutality.
Essentially give a sayonara to a character that's about to leave by giving it something that has redeploy, so that you can capture basically the resources locked into this upgrade, move it over, and now Boba's going to be even more effective whenever it's his turn to activate. So I'm going to pay 1, 3 minus 2 to replace this, so 1 in the tank there. And I already had spent this die this turn too, so that makes it really way better.
Play. Heirloom lightsaber.
And Heirloom lightsaber is here.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and play the honor guard, because I know, as well as you, that you don't want to activate Boba until
You and I both know that, don't we?
Get rid of my old boy, Kylo.
What does that do? 3 if it's Poe Dameron?
So
it's not. Okay, so we've got a 2 in different area codes there. Let's bamboozle that 2.
So I reroll it. If it's a blank, you gain the money.
I'd take a resource, but if you don't have one, I don't think I would take one.
Oh, that's right.
But that's great, right? I mean, it does get you 2 resources, I guess. That's it.
Well, that's my action.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and roll it.
You feel like it has ambush, you know? We're used to those kinds of cards having ambush.
Man, I feel like if I don't just kill you here, you're gonna get rid of it.
What did we say earlier?
When you have the chance. But
There's
a caveat to everything, right? Look at that heirloom lightsaber die. That is so much damage. Yeah, let's go 2 to Kylo.
2 to Kylo.
I'm gonna regret that. I'm gonna regret it. I'm so far behind though. I need a good luck check here. Yeah, I need a teacher. I love how much you've used that quote in this single video.
Well, you started saying it all the time, and then I picked it up. So now, actually, this is pretty cool because you have, first of all, a persistent healing bot on the table, and you've got the honor guard control option.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of guns and lightsabers, so.
Classic Boba Fett.
I'm gonna.
It's time to roll in, right?
I've already used my replacement for the turn
Yeah.
on the redeploy.
Also, the special with that 3 on the heirloom lightsaber could be so much damage. All right.
That's good for you.
I like that. I just don't want to spend my honor guard on a joke.
Wait, I rolled the wrong die here. He's got a
you
gun
did,
now.
yeah. Okay, great.
Perfect.
Even better.
Boba's going to the mines.
Let's roll in my medical droid. Basically a heal 1. It's a little different, but similar.
Okay. And now I just need to put some pressure on.
Yep.
So I'm going to re-roll.
But this game can get frisky real quick.
It's about to get frisky. I mean, we're in the frisk zone here.
Yeah.
Heirloom lightsaber discard for a reroll. I'm going to get them all out there. Boy. All right. I can work with that. I can work with that.
I hate doing it. I'm going to go ahead and use the honor guard on the 2 melee damage from my friend Boba.
Okay. That makes that,
Boba, classic.
Makes that decision easier.
Here.
I'm probably going to go, well, the +2 is not awful, but I really only have 1 shot of it. I'm going to re-roll that.
Yeah.
But I have these fancy control cards that I really appreciate right now.
That you're just bleeding out right now.
I'm going to do it. All of them.
Yeah, I think it's too much damage to pass on.
It's a game of potential.
Oh my word.
Oh my gosh.
Are you serious right now? That's the worst.
You had to leave the table after that. Goodness gracious.
What are my outs? Do I have any outs?
That was very good for me. It's the power of the reroll, right? Just keep tossing them until you get what you want. What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
I need more time. I need more actions.
If you get money, you could get a shield and a shield.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a shield on Han.
It's a good start there. Before it goes away, I'm going to use this to do 3. So resolve specials.
Lose a shield, 2 here.
But now what?
Then I'm going to gain 2 money.
All right. 3 damage.
And Han's dead.
Get out of here. I cannot believe how quickly that game turned.
You thought you were done.
I thought it was done for sure. You had like 5 resources out early on. So it was just, I mean, so much of Kylo is hitting that activation ability.
Yeah, because that
feels very Kylo-y.
On that second turn, not only did you hit Kylo, and you played the crossguard lightsaber that gave you a free damage. That's 3 damage. You rolled 4 damage with Boba that I couldn't stop.
I was rolling a lot of damage with Boba throughout that game.
That's what he does.
Which is great.
I mean, he's got 2 2s and a special, and so between those little things, that's 7 damage.
Man, bringing yellow in for Entangle is always going to be relevant in this like format, especially.
Sure.
So what do we think? What are the takeaways? Some things that are worth mentioning, worth noting throughout the game. Anything stick out to you?
I think you see what happens when there are a lot of lessons that were learned there. I think I invested a lot in Poe early, and you were able to get him off the board before he could really do anything. Meanwhile, you look at Kylo, who's got 12 health, and I got the job done way too late. He was if he was on the board 2 less turns, obviously, you get 1 less hit on 2 damage on Han, you get his dice that you're not getting to use, the control I had to spend on his dice, I get to use on Boba. And so once you get an opponent down to a character, all your control gets really good. Really good. Entangle against just Han is so powerful. Yeah. Because you're just shutting the train straight down. But yeah, I mean, you killed Poe on turn 2 before I even got to. I resolved two damage on him, and I had invested 3 resources.
That's the thing, and those 3 resources went away. That is where the game totally not only leveled, but because you were then one character down, but you lost those 3 resources, and I was able to get the redeploy to move 3 over.
Yeah.
So all the resources that got to the board, at least, which was few, at least up front, stayed on the board.
Yep.
Whereas Han or Poe's ended up in the trash can.
Yep, and that was important. I think your battlefield, you were getting to put the shield on Kylo, and it slowed me down even more to try to kill him. And I just didn't end up getting him off of the board. And even if I had, I was trying to re-roll the, whatever that neutral light bow, I don't know what it's called. But even if I'd had it, you had control in your hand. And I think it's really smart when you could have easily spent all of your money or resources to put another upgrade on Kylo and load it out.
Yeah.
And you didn't. And that stopped you from
man.
taking the damage, which meant Kylo got to stick around, which meant I kept having to use cards to try to get him off the board. And that's just, Destiny. I think that was a very great, everything from the opening bamboozle on my end, the resource shift.
Totally got bamboozled.
To how to play control and not having to just upgrade every time and spend all your money. But then once you're ahead, just taking it slow, making good choices, and giving yourself lots of opportunities to win. Because even if that turn you don't get rid of Han, and I'm able to get 4 or 5 damage in, now I'm 1 turn away. My dice are enough to get rid of you. And so that was kind of what I was trying to set up. But even then, you just keep giving yourself chances to not lose, basically.
That's right. Zach, so tell us this, all of us at the audience. There's some questions that have been asked commonly as Destiny, has been happening. One of the things I want to look at is resolving damage, like altogether. And a couple of questions are like, how do the modified sides ultimately work? And then do I have to if I resolve all 4 of these dice, do they have to go to one character, or can I split them amongst many characters? So show me how this goes.
So when you're resolving dice, you choose a symbol and you can resolve any number of those dice in the order of your choice. So technically you could resolve basically 1 at a time. And you resolve dice 1 at a time. Modifiers act a little different because they basically attach to these dice and become damage. So the ways you could obviously do this is you could just resolve these individually. So 1 Boba die, the second Boba die. If you wanted to spend your modifier sides, you have to attach them to another die. So they could both attach to the same die, or they could attach to different dice, or you could save one of them if you didn't want to resolve it, or both of them. And so however you're attaching them, that block of damage has to be done to the same character.
Right.
So in this case, you could do 4 to one, 4 to another, or you could do 6 to one character, 2 to another.
Yep.
But you can't, resolve this and do 1 to one character and 3 of it to the other.
Yep. So any of the dice that you're resolving as essentially a unit, even if I resolve this 2, all 2 has to go in one place. If I attach a modifier to it, now all 4 of it has to go to one place. If I attach this modifier to it, all 6 has to go in one place. But then this 2 could go anywhere else.
Yep.
So that's pretty much how that works. I think that's really the main thing that I see in Destiny a lot of times with newer players is basically how do these dice ultimately go. And it's important to note that you envision them going 1 at a time. So I resolve this. Do I want to add any modifiers? Yes, no, yes. Do I want to add additional? Yes. And then it resolves. Or I could say no, and then I could resolve that. And then this one comes here, resolve, go that direction. The other thing with modifier sides is that you can't generally resolve them through effects that resolve dice. So if I had a card that said resolve a range die, only modified sides can only be resolved with a die of standard, a non-modified die. So now you will see if something references just the blaster symbol. If it says a die showing a blaster symbol, it can be modified or unmodified. That
or
doesn't
if a
matter.
card, like the classic deflect from Awakenings, spotted range damage, you can deflect that, it can be modified or not. And I think that is a really important distinction, which is even if a card is telling you to resolve a die, you can't do that unless you can resolve a die.
Yeah, makes sense.
Flat out. So if it says resolve range damage, you can't do a plus range damage. You can only do something you could actually resolve.
All right. Well, that's that. Thank you so much for the game. That
Absolutely.
was cool. I literally thought I was done from turn 1. So
and I knew you weren't.
It's pretty incredible.
Of course, you can find these deck lists and more about each of these decks on the Learning Destiny series on the website, so check that out.
Thanks. We appreciate you, and we got more coming in the Learning series. Take care.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next video in the Learning Destiny series on our channel.
You can also find the link to our Learning Destiny series over on the website, which is where we have blogs, deck lists, and everything else, as well as all these videos. And it is truly the best way to watch and view all of this content. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep playing.